All right, so now we'll first start with the pattern modify object command. So you have to have an object to create it to use the pattern. So if we go over here and select the modify drop down and or fly out and pick the pattern option, we have three different modes or methods. We can do a circular pattern, we can do a linear or an array pattern, or you can do a path. So you have to have a line and another object. So we do the circular pattern and we'll start there. The first thing you'll do is select your object. So here you can select entities. I will pick that entity and you can see I can pick more. It found the one. I'm going to press enter. Takes me back to the settings. So then I can come in here and I can choose how I want it to be uh, arrayed. So I can do angle between and total number of elements. You can do fill angle and angle between elements, and then fill angle and total number of elements. So you got basically three options to choose from. I'm going to choose the angle between. So let's say I want that to be 45, and I want it to fill an angle of 180, and I want 5. So it kind of, basically on the angle, 5 would fill 180 degrees. So kind of giving you a preview of there. The element base point is where the object is going to be arrayed from. So in this case, it's using the last entity selected, which is that circle, and it's using that circle, the center of the circle, to be the base point. The access point is where you want it to rotate around. So you can either put it in XY or you can pick a center point. So in this case, I'm going to pick a center point, and I'm going to say that I want these to be arrayed around this particular point. Let's do it right here at the end point of that. So you can see it kind of gives you a preview. And if you scroll down, there's a preview button that I can click on, and I can see that it's arraying those 5 objects around this center point in this pattern. And if I'm happy with that, I can hit enter, or I can escape and then hit the checkbox if I want to make a change, and you can see it will apply that array pattern. I'm just going to undo and rerun that pattern using the linear option. The linear option, you pick how many vertical points and horizontal points, and let's say you want it to be let's say every 10. Let's do it a little bit more. Let's go 25 feet, and we'll do 25 feet this way. You can do a pattern angle. So if I click on this, I can say I want it to be at this angle, and then same thing here is I have to pick the object. So if you don't get the preview, you have to pick the object. So I have to make sure I pick that circle. And now you can see I get to preview, and it'll show that preview of that pattern. I'm going to escape, and I'm going to switch this to a path. So the entity is already selected because I selected that circle, and now I got to pick the path. So I'll pick this path here. And then you got total number and distance. So if I said, let's say 5 feet, and let's do 20, and using the element base again from the center point, you have rows. In this case, I'm just going to do one row, and you can specify tangent and angle, but if I click preview, you can see that it's trying to follow the number of objects along this particular linear feature. So if I hit escape to go back, my distance here is 22.4. So if I have 2 rows, you can see I can put a distance between the two of 25. So what this does when you hit preview is it actually draws 2 rows following that linear pattern. So they're really tight because I don't think I didn't put enough spacing. So up in here, my distance, let's make that let's do 25 and see what that does. So you can see that by changing that, it spreads those objects along this linear path. So ideally, what you really want to do, let's back out of this, is you want to put that path over, or the circle and the path together, right? So I'm just using that path. If I set this at the end point here, and we run that same pattern, you'll see that it actually looks a little better. So we go pattern, we pick our entities. We're going to pick this circle. The path is going to be this path. And let's do 15, and let's do 15 for that. And I think everything else looks good. Hit preview, and you can see now it follows that line a lot better. So now what I can do is I can also come in and do 2 counts, right? And I can say that I want those to be 15 and hit preview. And now you got 2 rows following that pattern. So that's what pattern does, and allows you to draw in kind of a pattern of objects.